Can everyone see me over this? I always worry I'm too short. Right. Okay. Fantastic. Brilliant. So, hello everyone. My name is Robert Walsh. I'm the Northern Ireland Marine Task Force Officer, or as we usually known as NIMTF. We're funded by the Esme Fairbairn Foundation, and I would like to say thank you very much for the opportunity to represent Northern Ireland on such a national scale. Brilliant. Now I'll outline for the uninitiated who we are, what our vision is, and how we're working towards achieving ocean recovery through key pieces of legislation and action. So, as you can see, membership of NIMTF consists of highly diverse expertise across our environmental NGO coalition, leading to a unified position and voice on marine environmental policy. Of course, this membership has changed over time to reflect the changing policies, legislation, and direction of NIMTF, but always with healthy, resilient, and productive seas at its heart. We've been established for almost 20 years and have covered several core pieces of legislation, such as the Marine Act in 2013 and the Draft Marine Plan for Northern Ireland. Everyone's work is building up to 2030, but as has been highlighted, we need to continue past this. But before I get too optimistic and ahead of myself, let's set out the true picture in Northern Ireland. We're the 12th worst out of 240 regions for biodiversity loss. Whilst on paper, we may seem to be ahead of the 30% by 2030, only 10% or just under of our MPA network is actively managed. And no surprise, we have a history of political instability, with our executive returning just shy of a year ago, resulting in delays in legislative progression. So you would be forgiven for thinking that NI was potentially down and out. But there's hope. We have developed a marine vision which focuses on 5 key themes: recovering biodiversity, sustainable fisheries, sustainable development at sea, climate action, and raising voices. And these will help us to work towards achieving ocean recovery and becoming a leading nation in developing marine environmental policy. And I will highlight these policies as we progress. So, that's a lovely map, isn't it? Firstly, our theme of recovering biodiversity focuses on our marine protected area network. Our asks here are really about marine management plans, to ensure that actionable recovery of our primary marine features can finally and truly be established after almost 9 or 10 years. These need to feature a transparent assessment of features. For example, the finalization of 2 proposed special protection areas to contribute coherence of the network, and all of this needs to be effectively managed. Just a small wish list, really. So, one of the core components here is the Marine Protected Area Strategy Review, which was last year, Blue Carbon Action Plan, and I love this slide, the Seabird Conservation Strategy and Action Plan, and the Elasma Rank Conservation Strategy. That board will feature again, don't you worry. Secondly, our theme of sustainable fisheries are where NIMTF are changing the rhetoric by engaging with industries, including the fishing industry and the sustainable seafood industry. By approaching with an open understanding to challenges faced by one another, whilst maintaining core values, we can make progress on making progress by ensuring that the fishing industry acts sustainably to achieve ocean recovery, including working towards the end of overfishing or the overuse of a resource that's already, as we've established, undergoing critical cumulative impacts. NIMTF are informing the development of fisheries management plans for Northern Ireland, including the recent adoption of the intertidal hand gathering of shellfish, FMP. And here is one of the ways that we're doing this. You can see the initial thing of CoFish, where we're bringing together the fishing industry, environmental NGOs, and the government to work collaboratively to achieve outcomes to a more sustainable industry. Currently, for the next 2 years, we're co-chairing CoFish alongside industry, specifically with the Northern Ireland Fishermen's Federation, comprised of the Northern Ireland and the Anglo-Northern Ireland fish producer organizations for the next 2 years, so working in collaboration to achieve joint goals. Thirdly, our theme on sustainable development at sea continues our engagement with industries, albeit this section's a little more challenging due to the lack of an aforementioned marine plan, which has been in draft coming up to 7 years. Northern Ireland is also working on developing a draft offshore renewable energy action plan with a focus on ensuring that we are using the mitigation hierarchy properly and effectively to front-load the consenting planning process to ensure that current and future developments are done in conjunction with nature's recovery. Fourthly, our theme of climate action represents the importance of the marine environment through the Climate Change Act of Northern Ireland in 2022, which stipulates a requirement to pursue nature-based solutions to aid in mitigating the impacts of climate change, not to solve the problem, to aid. This is crucial to Northern Ireland as there's a real opportunity through the first Devolved Nations Blue Carbon Action Plan and across our MPA network to strengthen the development of nature-based solutions such as seagrass, benthic reefs, coastal systems, and salt marsh habitats, to name a few. We also submitted components to the Northern Ireland Climate Change Adaptation Programme to help raise awareness of policies and link in with members of the public. Finally, our theme on raising voices fully encompasses the public and coastal communities, given that a third of our region sits underwater. And dotted along 650 kilometers of coastline, these communities are right at the forefront of shifts from climate change. It's highly important that we empower the public to raise their voice, but also to be represented by us when it comes to developing legislation. To answer fundamental questions like, how can the public get involved? How can I raise a marine issue in my local area? Told you the fish would be back. We adopted a methodology called Wishfish, where responses from the communities are used to showcase the severity of marine environmental issues when we engage with politicians, which then in turn elevates the work we do because it's backed by members of the public. These key environmental issues include me wearing a suit in the worst place possible. But of course, you cannot evoke restorative change without demonstrating political engagement in action, and it's always handy to have a prop. Bonus points if that prop happens to coincide with a key open consultation. In this case, it was the Alliance for Brank and Seabird Conservation Strategies. We've also engaged across the different parties, raising awareness of issues that we have identified, but also ensuring that we raise concerns of members of the public, showcasing, for example, with the MP, Colm Eastwood, that we engaged with over 2,000 members of the public at the Foyle Maritime Festival and are representing issues at that local level too. But it isn't just party conferences. It's showcasing that we have some amazing, breathtaking scenery and access to the marine environment across Northern Ireland. This represents fantastic opportunities to practically show politicians and engage with them on practical issues and challenges that the marine environment is facing. In this instance, we were showing an MLA, Mark H. Durkin, the issues of unregulated aquaculture, bait digging, and intertidal hand gathering, a resulting issue of limited actionable enforcement taking place. And as a result of this, they then put questions towards the DERA minister. So, you've seen our marine vision and the impact that hope can have. Now to show you how this is actioned by our members, focusing on key deliverables that we've highlighted. And the purpose of the purpose, not porpoise, the purpose of these projects is that legislation written down without actions or smart targets achieves no progress towards a desired outcome. Policy is led from the requirements of practical actions on the ground, and we support actionable progress towards these goals. Projects which deal with invasive non-native species eradication, such as the Life Raft, or connecting communities to the benefits of the marine through Healthy Oceans, Healthy Minds. You can use the Slido to find out more about these. That's the best way. So, as you can see, how we're working towards achieving ocean recovery is complex, but encompasses the themes of our marine vision, working across key stakeholders, politicians, and departments, whilst ensuring that action on the ground is put into play. To be successful, we must, not need, to bring communities and industries with us on the road to recovery. So the question of can we achieve well-managed and restored marine coastal seascapes by 2030? Well, you've seen a lot of the plans and strategies, but time realistically is ticking, literally, on, and we need urgent action in the run-up to 2030. Dedicated funding to promote practical recovery in our seas, devolved and national political leadership from our government bodies. We need to build public ownership. Public should feel like they're at the core component of the policy system in how we work. We can no longer remain in isolation or siloed functioning. and we need a cross-departmental approach to achieve this. And these must extend beyond borders to ensure we deliver for all. We can achieve all of this if we work together, and I'll leave you with this slightly amended proverb. By working with communities, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So let's travel together quickly. Thank you.